What do I admit? Oh, God, it's like I've never done this before. So.
I know, right? What a world. Shabbat Shalom, folks. We're gonna get started in a
1 minute.
minute, but I wanted to at least make sure that you knew that this was working because I know we haven't done it like this in a while. Hi, love. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Hi, Sue.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I did the extent of my Passover prep earlier today, and luckily the extent of my Passover prep is minimal, so I'm feeling ready to go.
Okay. Are you in Charlotte now?
I'm not. I'm in Raleigh for just the night. My close friend is a rabbi in Raleigh, and she and her family are actually moving right around the time that I move. So there are very few times left for us to be in the same place. So we figured we would, while we can and when we can, we're doing what we can. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So that's why I'm blurred out because they've started packing. So what you can see behind me is just like it's not pretty. I thought it wouldn't be
Oh,
very a reflective space for Shabbat.
Is your husband with you?
He's not. He's in LA. He's pretty sad about it. I'm a little sad about it too. He's still getting used to the idea that like it's worth being in the same place for Passover. So he continually forgets to figure that out.
Oh, is his family in LA?
His family, yeah, he lives in LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Uh, so we
You live in LA also, right?
eventually, starting in July.
Yeah. Where's your family?
My family's in Seattle.
Oh, okay. That's not too far away
Yeah.
from Los Angeles.
It's the same zip code, which I think, or not zip code, same area code. That's not what I meant either. Time zone. Good Lord. I am clearly ready for Shabbat and for Passover. Okay, we're gonna get started because I promised everyone that we're gonna do a full service, but we're gonna go straight through the service so that we can move into Shabbat and then give everyone a chance to get to Seder and to Passover. I also haven't shared my screen in a while, so we're gonna see how all of these things work over time, right? So we're gonna begin by lighting our Shabbat candles, and they're here. So I'm gonna light them in your presence, and I'm gonna put them in a place where you won't be able to see exactly what's happening, but I think we'll be okay. We're gonna do a full service, but we're gonna go straight through the service, so that we can move into Shabbat and then give everyone. I can hear myself all over again. And to
You're blurting out and coming in and out.
Am I?
Yeah.
See how all these things work over time. Right? Whether we're going to begin by lighting our Shabbat candles. Hold on. They're here, so I have a plan. I figured out the problem. So a reminder, since we all haven't been here in a long time, a reminder that if you're not muted, we will hear you. So feel free to unmute if you want to be heard, but know that we'll hear you. So here we are. We have lit our Shabbat candles. Here they are. And now I'm going to pretend that I didn't light them and cover my eyes. And we're going to take a deep breath and let it out. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue with the sanctification of Shabbat through the words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'Shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchi lanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch ata Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. So here's the question. Can you see the words on the screen? No one can see what's happening. It's like this never happened. It's like we never ever used Zoom, except we did for so many moons. Let's see what happens when I try this again. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna share. Okay, what can you see? Put it in the chat box. Can you see anything? No one can see anything. Oh, well, that's gonna be exciting. Can we see just a black screen? Oh, well, good gracious. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. You're gonna have to just listen to me pray a bunch of things without you. I don't like that idea. I'm trying to think if I have another solution. I don't have another solution. Let's see if I share my whole screen, which is what happens now. Can you see my screen? No, it's a black screen. Wow. It was working earlier, wasn't it, Natalie? Maybe it wasn't. Oh, no. Okay. Well, the next prayer you definitely know, so we're going to do it anyway. It's the Words of Shahakayanu. And before we move to Shahakayanu, let's pretend we live in a world where everything's working, and we're all ready for all of the things. And in the chat box, if you want to put in, or with the group that we have, it's a small enough group that I think you can actually unmute if you'd like to share something you're grateful for this week, or something that you are your little miracle of the week, your little joyful moment. Heather, go for it.
Oh, I started an Instagram account for something that I've always dreamed of doing, and it's already gotten 21 followers already. It's only been up for 3 days.
Wonderful. Good job. That's exciting. Sue, did I see you unmute briefly? No. Anybody else have anything exciting to share?
My daughter had successful college visits as she decides sometime soon where to go. And then my father-in-law was landed in Edinburgh, his birthplace, and will be there for 6 months and is doing well, and at his first Seder over in Scotland. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
Those are things I knew, so I was less amazed, but I also am still amazed. Who else? Anybody else have a thing to share? A joyful thing? Stuff I was worried about at work, that's all I could see for the moment, is going okay. There is something so amazing about things things that you're worried about not being what you were worried about. That wasn't a beautiful way of saying that, but it is such a relief to find that the things that were stressful are not. Yeah, thanks, love. I appreciate your support in my wording or not wording. So for all of these, and I'll say my Shahakayanu moment is I got to meet so I'm in Raleigh with friends this for the first night of Passover, and I have named both of their daughters, but I had not yet met their youngest daughter, who is 9 weeks old, and so I got to meet Maya today, and then I proceeded to get to hold her for so long that my watch thought that I was lifting weights and recorded 45 minutes worth of lifting weights of me like holding a 9-week-old kid. So for all of those and for all other blessings that we are thankful for, we'll continue with the words of Shahakayanu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Ah, 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 amen. We're going to continue without slides because I don't think we're going to have them tonight. So we're just going to walk through as we can. If you have a prayer book, you're welcome to find one to play with, but we'll also shift this a little more meditative. So we'll do what we can with words that I think most of you have a sense of, and then we'll give ourselves maybe a little more time to kind of settle into the theme of some of our prayers. But we'll officially enter our prayer service with the words of Baruch Hu, and we'll use the Noah Aronson melody to guide us in. And the beginning of those words are just Lai La Lai. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Our next prayer is a prayer of God's love. So Ahavat Olam is a prayer about God's everlasting love. And the words of the prayer remind us that the Torah that God gave us is really a Torah of everlasting love. And that if you take away all the words of the Torah, what you get is an unending, everlasting, forever love. And in a world where it can be hard sometimes to remember you are loved, in a world where it can be hard to remember to love everyone, particularly, I think we all find moments where there is where we have somebody in front of us or somebody we are interacting with who is very, very hard to love. So I'm going to give you just a moment to think of a person who could use a little extra love and to send some love to that person. With all of that love, we continue with the words of Shema. And I talk to kids about this often, but we don't often say these words as we are leading Shabbat evening services. The reason I cover my eyes with my hand is because when we diminish one sense, we heighten another. And the words Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, Shema, listen, hear, pay attention, right? It's a reminder to focus in. And so when I cover my eyes, I can't be distracted by all the things that my eyes can see. There's a bee outside the window right now in particular that I'm very excited to not see while I focus in on this prayer. So I'll invite you, if you would like to do that, if that is meaningful for you, or to choose a sense to take space from so that you can give more space to what it means to hear or tune in or focus. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. I don't know if you can hear behind me. Can you hear? You can hear behind me? That's Eliana. She is a little over 2 years old. It's funny, I live, generally by myself. So as rabbis and cantors all over the country for the last 2 years have navigated other human beings in their world, it was always relatively straightforward for me because at most there was my roommate's dog, but there's been very little in the house. So as I was preparing for services today, I was like, I hope the congregation's ready for a 2-year-old. But I appreciate your willingness to pray along with me and Eliana and teeny tiny Maya. So we're going to continue with the words of Mi Chamocha, and I'll offer the reading prior to Mi Chamocha. And as we prepare to enter Passover, right, Mi Chamocha is the prayer of Passover. It is the daily reminder, the weekly reminder of the same thing that we talk about a lot during Passover itself. And so this prayer and the reading that leads into this prayer, I think, can particularly help us kind of arrive not only into Shabbat, but also into Passover. It's a reading that I think is familiar to many of you. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And so with all of our crying infants that I'm sure were crying as they crossed the sea too, and all of the folks in all of their places, the old and the young, the fast and the slow, we imagine standing together on the other side of the sea, having made it to safety for the first time perhaps in our entire lives. And we sing the words of Mi Chamocha together. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha netzar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot oseh fele Nora tehilot oseh fele. I'm going to teach you a version of this that I only use during Passover. It is a mashup with Wade in the Water, which is a childhood favorite of mine. My mother was in a play in which her character sang Wade in the Water. And so I have memories of being 5 or 6 years old and I'm supposed to be asleep, but I'm sitting at the top of the stairs listening to my mom sing, like belt out Wade in the Water in the living room downstairs. And it works pretty well, actually. It makes a lot of sense with the words of Mi Chamocha. So the words to wade in the water are as follows. It's just the first part. Wade in the water, wade in the water. Children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. So it goes like this. Wade in the water, wade in God's gonna trouble the water. One more time. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Micha mocha, micha mocha, micha mocha, ba'elim Adonai. We'll continue with the words of Vishamru. I'm skipping Hashkivenu because I feel like it's not quite nighttime yet. We're not quite at sundown. We're not quite at protect me while I sleep. So I'll let you offer Hashkivenu later tonight when you are heading to bed. But for now, we will continue with the words of Vishamru. And if you don't have enough of the words in you already to sing along, feel free to close your eyes and to feel what it means to enter Shabbat. Vishamru is a reminder that we are to keep Shabbat. It's a reminder that the Jewish people have been commanded to rest one day a week, every single week, for time immemorial. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam, beini uvein bnei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, ulayom hashevi Shabbat vayinafash. We'll continue with the first words of our Amidah, the entrance into the Amidah, and then I will mute my own self so you will have actual silence for your own thoughts and prayers as well. And I invite you, as you move into this Amidah that is heading into Passover, to think about these questions that it is common for some to ask during their Passover Seder. Where are you coming from? And where are you going? Where are you coming from? And where are you going? We'll offer the first words of the Amidah together, and then we'll continue for a few moments of silence. Adonai sifatai tivtach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Hamivarech et amo Yisrael Bashalom. We're going to continue with the names of folks that we are thinking of who are in need of healing. And we don't usually read these names out loud, but since they're not written on the screen, I'm going to read those names aloud for all of us. And if there are names in addition that you are thinking of, please feel free to enter them into whichever chat box you're on, whether you're with us on Zoom or if you are in Boxcast. I'm seeing some names pop into the chat box already, and I will offer the following to make sure that we are including them in our prayers as well. Today we are praying for the healing of Jana Baker, Rose Baker, Hazel Bish, Lucianne Bolton, Kason A. Bredlinger, Dennis Bird, Melanie Carden, Jeff Casey, Mark Clearfield, Judy Coates, Mara Kobe, John Content, Denise Cooper, Ben Kovitz, Madeline Crody, Peggy DeLand, Pamela DeMar, Mara DeFino, Judy Dressner, Harvey Eisenberg, Sydney Farber, Donna Foster, Judy Francis, Jan Porter Frick, Brenda Gale, Phil Garfinkel, Bonnie Ginsberg, Harvey Gold, Rachel Gold, Rhoda Goldberg, Ray Gonzalez, Corey Govier, PJ Grandinetti, Gerald Hambury, Linda Harkavy, Megan Ann Harkavy, Bobby Harrison, Shirley Hickman, Karen Howard, Jody Coulter, Ellen Kelso, David Kosov, Leigh Lane, Martin Markowitz, Nicole Mendelson, Karen Millman, Bruce Meerman, Jill Newman, Carol Olson, Jim Olson, Todd Pearl, Michael Prosha, Stephanie Pulda, Evan Ray, Marcia Rieger, Diane Reitman, Mitch Rifkin, Carol Ritter, Sunshine Robbins, Mark Rose, Merv Rosen, Scott Rosenzweig, Darren Roth, Todd Roth, Ken Rothmel, Mindy Saslow, Alan Schwartz, Arlene Selman, Francine Schaefer, Sherry Shaw, Janice Silverman, Wanda Cinda, Stanley Smilowitz, Daniel Soto, Susan Soto, Dolores F. Stern, Janet Sunderman, Emery Zabo, Jacqueline Zabo, Stan Tinter, Michael Trainer, Adele Orowski, David Wahlberg, Martha Maureen Washburn, Marilyn Watson, Olivia Widener, Alan J. Weisbard, Carolyn Charlotte Weiss, Sherry Udell, and Sally Zachary. So for all those names, everyone who is in need of healing of body, mind, or spirit, and all those additional names we hold in our heart, will offer together the words of Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We'll continue with words of Aleinu. I love that we get to move from Mishaberach to Aleinu. Mishaberach is a prayer that invites God to help us heal each other and send healing to people. And Aleinu prays for a world where the world itself will be whole. So it kind of makes sense to have one follow the other. So we'll continue with the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. And as always, we honor and remember and celebrate the life of people who have died at this time in years past. And I got to lead a tour yesterday of Shalom Park, which is a great reminder of just how amazing Shalom Park is. And when you lead tours for people who aren't Jewish, they always stop at the yahrzeit wall, at the wall of names. And I get to tell folks who come from other traditions that we have a tradition of saying aloud and honoring and remembering the people who have been important in our lives, who have helped shape who we are every single year, and that we as a community do that together. It's really special. And I grew up in a world where I thought everyone did that, but it turns out that's actually not something that happens across the board in the world. And so what a blessing to be part of a community that honors people and keeps them in our world and helps us continue to learn from them and grow from them. And their legacy lives on. So we are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, for Jerry Bernstein, father of Betsy Olinger, Robert Chamow, father of Ellen Martin, June Owen Perry Flick, the aunt of Vicki Hopkins, Linda Garreau, the aunt of Beth Warschauer, Constance Connie Krause, the mother of Linda Siegel, Lloyd E. Merkelson, father of Julie Dermack, Max Shore, the father of Ethan Shore, and Gary Waller, the father of Max Waller. And we remember at their yard site Shirley Benson, Gloria Berger, Edward Gordon Bernstein, Judith Bishop, Donald Blanchard, Fanny Blumenthal, Ernest Buchopman, Vilma Senauer, Rose Cohen, Rose Eber Cohen, Claire Rosenberg Cohen, George Cronson, Bernard Davis, Myra Dixon, Eve Feldman, Alan Jacob Fennell, Minna Freiberg, Evelyn Geismar, Reba Goodman, Ethel Gordon, Sadie Gordon, May Lewis Grossman, Anna Caro, Beatrice Kirschner, Daniel A. Klein, Max Klotzman, Betty Kolker, Nathan Kornblit, William Kosowitz, Annie Laurie, Rebecca Levine, Alex Lou Levitt, Mary Marshall, Florence Molaski, Francis Menaker, Phyllis Anathan Myers, W. Ford, Ted Moreland, Shelley Mott, Herb Obiter, Ida Penn, Ann Picker, Irving Herbert Raff, Jerry Rittenberg, Daniel Rutman, Joseph Sadler, Scott Saul, Nathan Sandler, Leonard Silverstein, Helen Simon, Elizabeth Small, Andrew Stevenson, Abraham Taylor, Bobby Tuck, Rosa Bear Weinstein, Joyce Weisberg, James Wells, Milton Wissack, and Jean Ziss. If there are any other names that I have failed to mention or that you would like to make sure are included this evening, you can enter them into the chat box as we honor their memories together with the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Kadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh V'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shmei d'kudusha brichu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I want to make sure to say really quickly a couple of things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. We are partnering with Friendship Missionary Baptist Church and a few other churches and organizations to co-sponsor a set of political forums, all held virtually, so you're welcome to join from the comfort of wherever you are, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday afternoon. They've got as many candidates as were willing to show up. From anyone who's part of a contested race was invited, so you're welcome to come learn about who's running for what. Spice is hosting a Passover lunch for all of us on Wednesday. You are welcome to join us Wednesday at I think 11 a.m. And keep your calendars open and check your email for Yom HaShoah information that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. And with that, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Pesach. a lovely first night Seder. May there be sounds of joy and laughter, whatever that may look like in your own household. And gefilte fish if you want it, and no gefilte fish if you don't. And some sweet treats as well. Thank you for being with me for this early entrance into Shabbat. I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you for doing this service. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. And thanks for sticking it out without any words on the screen. I appreciate it.
It's okay, they're in our head. The words are in our head, in our head.
Some of us at least.
You were great.
Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, good Pesach, everyone, and good Shabbat Shalom.